that. But I did want to quickly recognize, as Joe Wilkinson left, Joe Wilkinson, I just wanted to thank you for all you do downtown and for being a representative and us hosting this event in your district. You're a good man. Thank you. And Johnson Hill also here, Senator Johnson Hill. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to our moderator, Jim Galloway, who is Atlanta Journal's political insider, writer. You probably all either know him or certainly read him, and we will move forward with the Secretary of State candidate forum.
Thanks for having us here today. I'm going to dismiss with any frivolities because I'm told that if we run overtime, we're going into the pit. That's clear. All right. We've got three candidates for Secretary of State here in alphabetical order. They are Libertarian David Chastain, Republican incumbent Brian Kemp, and Republican Doug Kennedy. You are probably curious as to what these men might do if they were elected. Secretary of State's office is in charge of elections management, securities monitoring, corporate registration, and license board administration. We're going to try to hit some of these topics, but first, each of these men have a 2-minute opening statement. They'll get a 2-minute closing statement, and we'll try to hit some questions in between. Let's go in alphabetical order. Mr. Chastain.
Testing. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Miss Sadie, for allowing us to be here. And by the way, Sadie, my people are from Fannin County, so I'm kind of a mountain man, too. My name is David Chastain. I'm the Libertarian candidate for Secretary of State. For those of you that may have voted for me when I ran for State School Superintendent in 2006, I thank you for your vote. For those of you that are not aware of the Libertarian Party, Pastor Holdorf, I appreciate your invocation. Liberty is the root word in the word libertarian. It might go back to years ago when people used to have the motto, no king but Jesus. Those of us who are Christians, who believe that liberty came to God, we don't believe that we should entrust our liberties to anyone but God, and that we should be fighting for our freedoms. You know, you can build a cage so big where the caged animal thinks they have freedom, but it's still inside a cage. We believe in liberty. The reason I'm running for Secretary of State, I made this decision late, actually I made it in December. There's some things that I feel are amiss in the Secretary of State's office, and they've happened over time. It hasn't happened immediately. Let me ask you a question. Ms. Jan Jones talked about voting for transportation. By a show of hands, how many of you in this room believe that every electronic vote gets counted in Georgia? Wow. And you're correct, they don't. I studied 50 single-issue referendums back in December and found that by using the formula, one issue on the ballot, you take the total votes for a SPLOST, let's say, or for a liquor tax. You subtract all the yeses, you subtract all the noes, and the answer should be 0. Am I correct? All right, it hardly ever happened. And the one county that had 0, turns out the debug machines were not
on time.
All right, so we'll talk more at chastain2010.com.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. It's great to be in Sandy Springs. This is a great community. I had the privilege when I was in the state senate to actually vote for a piece of legislation that created the referendum to allow the people of this area to create this beautiful city. And I was proud this week to announce that the mayor and a couple of council members and some other great Fulton County leaders like Representative Joe Wilkinson and others are supporting my campaign. I'm proud of that. I'm also proud to have my family with me today. I'm proud to be a father, and glad Marty and our 3 girls are with us, and certainly appreciate that. I'm also proud that I'm a small business owner. Over the last 15 years, pretty much every check I've gotten, I've written to myself. I think that's important in state government. I still have several businesses that are running today that I helped create, and really small business owners are the backbone of our economy. In the state senate, I had the privilege of serving a district that really nobody thought I could ever do because it was a very Democratic-leaning district. I was running against one of the most liberal members of the state Senate at the time. I did that because I was mad because Roy Barnes did redistricting in a way that didn't represent our values. And I didn't feel like our values were being represented in the state Senate. And that's why when I got there, even though I was in a tough district representing Clark County that voted for Michael Dukakis when he ran for president, I stood up for marriage between one man and one woman. I voted and supported for the Women's Right to Know bill. I supported cutting taxes, cutting government regulation, protecting our Second Amendment rights. Those things that we've been in the trenches fighting for all those years. And that's why as Secretary of State, I've had a great opportunity to implement the plans which I've been running on over the last year, like cutting red tape. We now have a Cut Red Tape website, a part of the official site for the Secretary of State where business owners can go and let us know how we can cut red tape. I look forward to taking your questions today, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I'm Doug McGinnity. 21 years ago, I had an opportunity of a lifetime. I got to be an intern in President Ronald Reagan's White House. And when I was an intern and President Reagan was the president, the interns didn't get to spend a lot of time with the president. I understand that changed in subsequent administrations. But we had one audience at the end of the summer, and that's when we had our picture taken with the president. And he gave us a little advice, and there's one piece of that advice that has always stayed with me, and that was this. He said, listen, I want you to go back to where you're from and do something with your lives first before you get involved in politics. I thought that was great advice, so I did. I came back here to Atlanta where I'd grown up, went to graduate school, practiced as a lawyer for a number of years, and then 7 or 8 years ago started my own business with a partner. We started in a very small office, just the two of us. Today that company has over 550 employees, headquartered here in Atlanta with offices all over the United States. But I've also felt it's been very important to give back to my community. I've been involved in our church. My wife and I have been married 17 years. I've helped her teach Sunday school. I coached all my kids as they've gotten older through their teams. I've only been hit in the head once with a baseball bat. But I've also been involved in nonprofits both here and abroad. And I've been involved in my community. I just finished a term here on the City Council in Sandy Springs. And I want to bring all that experience to the Secretary of State's office because I think it's time for some new leadership, some new ideas, and some new energy in our party and in our state government. I'd love to bring all that to it, and I'd like to look forward to talking about the issues as we go through the questions. Thank you very much.